Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another session of our Knowledge Club. And today we are very privileged in that there are two major events that I am going to speak about. The first one is that today is the centenary, 100 years past, World War I. Indians went and fought in Europe and showed that they are second to none. On 10th of March 1915, immediately after the winter, the British launched an offensive against the Germans, consisting of one Canadian division, 4 corps of the British Army, and the Indian division consisted of 2 brigades, the Lahore and the Meerut brigades. That particular battle was fought over 3 days, 10th to 12th of March, on a nondescript village called Nouvelle-Chapelle, which in French really means a new church. This was on various grounds. But the fact of the matter is that in this battle, there were horrendous casualties. 12,000 people died, 12,000 soldiers died of the British, and an equal number died on the side of the Germans. Of this, there were 450 officers. Among the casualties, 1/3 of the casualties of the British side were Indians. Roughly 4,000 Indians laid lives in that. "50 years later, in 1965, the Indians once again proved their mettle by climbing Mount Everest, and at that time they created a feat of sorts. 19-member team, 9 of them reached the summit. 9 of them. There would have been 11, except for the fact that some oxygen failed somewhere and there were little mishaps. It was such a tremendous feat, and at that time it electrified everybody that the then Prime Minister came to the airport to receive the team. The team captain, the leader of the team, was requested to come to the Parliament and addressed both houses of Parliament. And each one of the team was given an Arjun Award and so on. And that was the time when it electrified the whole nation and proved to the world that as in Indians we are second to none. And now, 50 years later, we are so fortunate to have among that team the team leader, Captain Kohli, his second in command, Colonel Kumar, and one of the people who reached the top of Everest, Major Ahluwalia. Now they've done extremely well for themselves and brought pride and glory to the nation, but we are equally proud that each one of them is a member of the Delhi Judo Club. Very proud. Now, what we intend to do is that we start the proceedings by showing you a film that has been made. I'm sorry, I forgot one thing. We've also got Brigadier Khulla here, who led the Everest expedition in 1984, and that put a number of material on the mountain, including Chandripal, the first Indian woman to scale, and he is the leader of the expedition. All 4 of them are Gymkhana members, all 4 of them. Now, how we intend to go about it is that, first of all, we'll have a small screening on the life of, and a film has been made on the life of Colonel Kumar. Thereafter, Colonel Kumar will speak for a few minutes, followed by Captain Kohli, who was the team leader then, followed by Major Ahluwalia, followed by Brigadier Khullar, and then towards the end, we'll have a book release, which we'll request the President to release the book which Colonel Kumar is in. So first, we have the biodata of Colonel Kumar, which we are going to put on the screen and you can read it. Right, we'll have to now.
Trials, he was the first army officer to be selected. In the summer of 1960, the expedition established its camp at South Col, at a height of 26,000 feet, one of the windiest places on Earth. The first summit selected by the leader, Brigadier Gyan Singh, Narendra Kumar, terrible blizzard forced them back. The members of the expedition were disappointed, but not dissatisfied. They had done their best.
Of athlete of the past. And I am happy that leader and one of the soldiers is with us today. They meant to write. In the beginning, I like to say that Mountaineers is always a team event. In any team, you work together without thinking that who will get the credit, you can produce tremendous results. And that's how it happened. And the Everest expedition, the award which we created, only created, launched for 17 years. And I am grateful to our publishers, Underline, and Hussain is here with us, who have published this book. I have nothing more to say, but I am very happy to answer if you have any questions.
On the screen, his biodata.
Mr. Chibar, General Oban, my mountaineering colleagues on the dais, and friends. At the very outset, let me congratulate my dear friend Colonel Kumar for the... Is the book is released now? Later. For the book which is still to be released, and also about a beautiful film, which I think has given you a story or history of Indian mountaineering during the past 50 years. General Oban has mentioned that after the centenary of the Gymkhana Club, today marks the centenary of the First World War. Let me add here, there is another centenary, and that is centenary of Everesters. It is, of course, very interesting to see, in fact, it never occurred to me, that 4 Indian mountaineers who have made history all belong to the Gymkhana Club. Now, Colonel Kumar has really, his biggest achievement, I would say, is that he has saved the Siachen Glacier from the evil designs of Pakistan. Major Ahluwalia, my colleague, has, when he was shot in Kashmir, in September, I remember I was in Delhi, and he was brought here and taken to the military hospital. General Joseph, the legendary Indian surgeon, was there. He was Serene Defense Secretary, and we both went there. He said that I'm not sure whether we can save him. How he confronted the death, how he came out of from very close encounters with death. Not only that, he created a spinal injury center, the first one in Asia, and now he's saving the lives of many other people. And General Oban has mentioned about Darshan Khuller, who led the 84 team. I think I must add here that climbing Everest and making a successful Everest team is one thing, but to be given a mandate that we must put Indian women on top makes it all the more difficult, and Darshan has achieved that. Now the centenary of Everesters, let me dwell on that and take you to Haripur Hazara and Ahmedabad. I don't know whether you heard these two names. They became famous names during the days of Osama bin Laden. He was 2 years in Haripur and his house was being built secretly in Ahmedabad, and then he went to, in 2006, he went to Ahmedabad, where he was shot by the naval marines. Now why I'm mentioning this is that during those days when I was in Haripur, I came to know from my father Sardar Sujan Singh Kohli and grandfather of General who was, in fact, they were also type of Everesters. Atma Ram Singh, his grandfather, and my father, they were these very spiritual people. They had almost climbed the Mount Everest of spirituality, and they were very popular in that area. And both of them, they used to do kitchen together, and I remember that this was very popular in this whole area. And the person who was also very well known as a household name was Charles Bruce. He came to Ahmedabad as a lieutenant with the 5th Gorkhas, and he was such a sport fanatic and physical fitness type of man. He started a akhada in his own house. He used to do wrestling every day, and he used to be his orderly while climbing a small hill outside his house in Ahmedabad. He became physically so strong that he was destined to lead the first Everest expedition in 1922 when he was 56 years old man, but very tough In fact, Mallory liked him so much that everybody, in fact, young husband and his great friends, that he was also selected later to lead the 24 team. In the 24 team, Mallory and Irwin disappeared when they were 500 feet short of the summit. And General Charles Bruce was actually appointed as the leader. But then he contracted malaria just a few days before going to Everest, and Norton took over the leadership. But this story, of course, is today a household name. Everybody knows Mallory and Irwin. And the man who was searching for them was Noel Odell. I had the pleasure of having him in my house in Bombay for 3 days in 1974. Now, these people, Charles Bruce, etc., started thinking of Everest in 1914. When the Second World War started, I think Bruce was the commandant. He was commanding the 6th Gorkha then at that stage. And they first talked of going to Mount Everest, getting a permission from Ethiopia. So I would say that this is also like today we are celebrating the centenary of Everesters. And I would like to give you short glimpses of the last 100 years so that you, the proud members of this famous historical club, can get an idea about how the Indian mountaineering came up. When we came to India and started mountaineering, the first expedition was, of course, 1960, where you have seen in the movie, Colonel Kumar was in the first summit party, I was in the second summit party, but we missed the summit by 200 meters. Second time was in 1962. This time we did little better. We missed the summit by 100 meters in a very strong blizzard. And we had 2 accidents, one at all about 28,000 feet, when we had a very close encounter with death. After we returned, another story, and that was the Chinese aggression which happened on the 20th of October. Now I'm mentioning this specifically because it changed our lives completely. Gurdeep's father, General S.S. Oban, he was picked up, he was then commanding the 22nd Mountain Brigade of the Army. He was handpicked to take over the Special Frontier Force, the Tiptons who had come with Dalai Lama to India in 1959. I was handpicked to train the ITB police and make it a mountaineering force. And we were, of course, very good friends from Haripur. And I was one of the first people to go to Chakrata to give a talk to these Tiptons and to tell them how to go along and become mountaineers. And I would like to mention here that General Oban was not only commanding the SFF, he played a very major role in the liberation of Bangladesh. In fact, when he died in 2001, I was writing my book, Spies in the Himalaya, which was a top secret thing, but since the Americans had it, I thought I will mention it, and I went for advice 2-3 times. At that time, Bangladesh Prime Minister had written in a letter which he showed me that they wanted him to come to Bangladesh to be honored by the nation. A very big celebration was talked about, but unfortunately, he was not at all keeping well with the kidney failure, and finally, 2001, he died. And of course, after 62, we went to Mount Everest again in 65, and then came the Spies in Himalaya, which was immediate. In fact, right at the airport, after meeting the Prime Minister, I was asked to see Mr. R.M. Cow, and I was told that he's standing behind the plane and wants to see me urgently. I went to him. He said, Captain Kohli, I'm sorry, you have to fly immediately to Alaska. You know, the Chinese have tested the first atom bomb last year, and both American CIA and Indian intelligence, they are worried that we should want to know the status of the Chinese atom bomb sites, and also from their firing their ballistic missiles. And then, of course, in the national interest, 5 of us from the Everest team immediately flew to Alaska, and Colonel Kumar looked after the rest of the functions in India as our deputy leader. And of course, we thought that within 3 months, this Nanda Devi operation will be over and we will have our rest and recuperation then. But somehow, when we were almost near the top, the nuclear powered generator fell down, and of course the tons of snow came in the winter,